Welcome dear students, my name is Swati BS, lecturer in Department of Computer Science, Vishwamanava Composite PU College, Chitradurga. In the last session, we discussed about the topic called as entity relationship model. It is also called as entity relationship diagrams. In that, we discussed that ER diagram is defined as visual representation of data, and it also establishes the relation between the two data and the And when you consider the ER diagram, mainly there are three components of ER diagram. The first one is entity, second one is attribute, and third one is relationship. So when you consider an entity refers to any object, place, person or a class ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. In case of ER diagrams, the entities are represented by using the rectangles. And when you consider an attribute describes the main characteristics of an entity or the properties of an entity ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. And these attributes are represented by using ellipse symbol. And when you consider the relationship describes the relation between the entities. The relationship is represented by using diamond box. The relationship is mainly classified into three types. One is binary relationship, second one is recursive relationship, and third one is ternary relationship. And when you consider the binary relationship describes the relation between the two entities. And when you consider the recursive relationship means the entity which is related to itself is called as recursive relationship. And third one is ternary relationship. What is ternary relationship? The relationship is established between the three entities is called ternary relationship. And in case of binary relationship, again it is classified into mainly three types and very important concept, that is called as one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship, and many-to-many relationship. And the definitions for all these types and the diagrammatic representation for all these types we discussed in the previous class. So in today's class, we are going to discuss about the topic called as participation constraints. Participation constraint. So what do you mean by participation constraint? So the participation constraint refers to how many attributes are involved in the relationship, or how many attributes of an entity are involved in the relationship. That is called as participation. And in case of this participation constraint, it is mainly classified into two types. The first one is total participation constraint. Total participation constraints. And second one is partial participation constraint. Partial participation constraint. So what do you mean by total participation constraint? So the definition of total participation constraint is if all the attributes of an entity are involved in the relationship, it is called as a total participation constraint. If all the attributes of an entity, so entity alli baruva ella attributes kuda relationship alli involve agidre adanne enanta helabodu total participation constraint. If all the attributes of an entity are involved in the relationship, it is called total participation constraint. And partial participation constraints, the name itself indicates if not all the attributes of an entity are involved in the relationship, then it is called as partial participation constraint. If not all the attributes of the relation are involved in the relationship, it is called as partial participation constraint. And when you consider the diagrammatic representation of this, we know that in order to establish a relationship, we require minimum two entities, and the relationship is established between these two. And this is entity 1 and this is entity 2, and the relation is written inside the diamond box relationship. And when you consider the total participation constraint, the total participation constraint is represented by using double lines. The total participation constraint is represented by using double lines, and the partial participation constraint is represented by using the single line. So this represents the total participation constraint, and this represents partial participation constraint. So clear with this topic, participation constraint, and mainly the two categories of participation constraint and the representation of that in the ER diagram. If there are double lines, then it indicates the total participation, means all the attributes of the entity are involved in the relationship. If it is a single line, it represents not all the attributes of an entity are involved in the relationship. So this is about the participation constraint. So next we are going to discuss about the topic called as aggregation. Aggregation. So what do you mean by aggregation? Aggregation refers to the process in which the relationship between the two entities are treated as a single entity. For example, if you have an entity called as, the first entity is considered as a center and the second entity is considered as a cause. Second entity is considered as a cause, and the relationship between these two entities are taken as offers. Offers and the relationship. What do you mean by aggregation? The relationship between the two entities is again treated as a single entity. ಇದನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು entity ಅಂತ represent ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. We know that in case of ER diagram, the entities are represented by using the rectangle. You can observe here, ಇದು ಅಷ್ಟು relationship ಗೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಹಾಕಿದೀವಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ rectangle symbol ಅನ್ನ ಬರ್ದಿದೀವಿ. This indicates that the process in which relation between the two entities is treated as a single entity, and this can be given to another entity. That means enquiries is a relationship name, enquiries, and the another entity is called as visitor. And this entity is related to another entity that is called as visitor. You can observe here process in which the relation between the two entities are treated as a single entity is called as aggregation. So one mark kelbodu, define aggregation. So this is the diagrammatic representation or ER diagram of the aggregation. So this is about the aggregation. Next we are going to discuss about the topic called as cardinalities and ordinalities. So cardinalities and ordinalities. So what do you mean by cardinality? Very important definitions. Cardinality refers to an or the cardinality defines the how many instances of one entity, how many instances of an entity is related to one instance of another entity. Is related to one instance of another entity. But the ordinality defines or the ordinality describes the minimum or absolute number of relationships, or you may write the ordinality describes whether the relationship is optional or mandatory. Whether the relationship is optional or mandatory. So clear? when you consider the cardinality ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, how many instances of one entity is related to one instance of another entity is called as cardinality. Ordinality describes whether the established relationship is optional or it is a mandatory. Whether it is optional or mandatory ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು ಯಾವುದು, that is ordinality. For example, if you consider the customer is an entity, and account is the another entity, and the transaction is the one more entity. Now I am establishing a relationship between these two so that there are n number of customers are having only one account, right? So how many instances of one entity is related to one instance of another entity? And I am establishing a relationship between these two now. So if there is an account, it can make any number of transactions that is represented by M. Means it can do n number of transactions. How many accounts? Only one account, but it can do any number of transactions. Here the account is mandatory or it is compulsory. The n number of customers means how many instances of one entity is related to one instance of another entity, that is called as cardinality. Ordinality defines whether it is mandatory or optional. Means in order to do a transaction, ನೀವು transaction ಅನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ the account must be mandatory. This relation should be mandatory. That is identified by the ordinality. And in other words, this cardinality determines the maximum number of relationship. ಈ cardinality ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ maximum number of relationships ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. For example, if you are having 100 customers here, how many relations we can establish? 100 relations. Means it describes the maximum number of relationship. Which one? Cardinality. And when you consider the ordinality describes the minimum or absolute number of relationship. Exactly ಎಷ್ಟು relationships ಇದೆ, ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಯಾವ್ದು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ? Ordinality ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. So ordinality describes the absolute or minimum number of relationship, that is called as ordinality. Clear? Cardinality means it describes the maximum number of relationship. Ordinality means it describes minimum number of relationship. So that is about cardinality and ordinality. So if the minimum number is 0, means there is no relationship established. Minimum number of relationship 0 ide andre that relationship is called optional. Minimum number of relationships is 0 means that is called as optional. And if the minimum number of relationships is one or more, ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಒಂದು ರಿಲೇಶನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ರಿಲೇಶನ್ಶಿಪ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ that relationship is called a mandatory relationship. You must remember here, if the minimum number of relationships is 0, ಒಂದು ರಿಲೇಶನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ that relationship is optional. ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಬರೀಬಹುದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. If you are assuming here, if the minimum number of relationship is one or more, one ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ relationships ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ that is called as a mandatory relationship ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So this is about cardinalities and ordinalities. So in case of cardinality, again we are having different notations for cardinalities. So notations of cardinalities. So mainly the cardinalities are represented in 4 categories. The first one is information engineering style. Information engineering style. And the second one is Ken style. Ken style. And third one is Batchman style. And the last one is Martin style. Martin style. So these are the four different notations for cardinalities: information engineering style, Ken style, Batchman style, and Martin style. So when you consider the representations, let us consider there are three entities here. The first one is called company. The second one is called employees, and third one is called projects. So observe here the relationship established from this. The relationship established between this and here we will write like this. So this type of establishing a relationship between the entities of the ER diagram or entities of the relationship is called information engineering style. In case of this, you can observe here, if you write a relationship like this, one straight line relationship, it indicates one-to-one relationship. And if you are writing like this, so this type of relationship, you can observe here, one company can have many relationships. This indicates one-to-many relationships. And if you are simply writing like this indicates many relationships. So this is one-to-many relationship. This indicates many relationship. And if you are writing like this, one and only one relationship. One and only one relationship. And if you are writing like this, zero or many relationship. Zero or more, or zero or many relationship. So clear? This is a kind of representing the relationship between the entities by using which information engineering style. It is a notation of cardinalities. Cardinality notation madliki use maduvantu. And when you consider the next diagram, it is called as Ken style representation. So in this again same example we are considering here. The first one is called company. And the second entity is called employees, and third entity is called projects. And in this case, we are going to represent the relation between this like this. In this, one company can have many employees, and many employees can work for zero or more projects. You can observe here, in case of this, 1, n or 1 to n indicates that 1 to 0 or more relationship. 1 to 0 or more relationship, that means one company can have 0 or more employees. One company can have 0 or more employees. And again, if you are writing like this, m, n, so this indicates that there are zero or many to zero or many relationships. Means 0 or more employees can handle 0 or more projects. So this can also be written as m:n antanu bariಬಹುದು. And when you consider, so next we are going to discuss about Batchman style of cardinality notation. In this, consider the three same entities what we considered in the previous. So three entities. In this, the first one is company, and the second one is employees, and third one is projects. Under this we are going to represent the relation between the entities like this. Here one company, so it is represented like this, circle, filled circle, and there are one or more employees, it is represented like this, arrow below that one circle, and here also the many employees, and here the 0 or more projects. The one or more employees working for the 0 or more projects. And here if it is like this, ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೇ represent ಮಾಡುವಾಗ, if there is a filled circles at the end of a line, this indicates 1-to-1 relationship. And if you are having like this type of relationship, it indicates 0 to 0 or more to 1 or more relationship. 0 or more to 1 or more relationship. And if you are writing like this, so this indicates that 0 or more to many relationships. So this is the representation of Bachmann style of cardinality rotation. And the last one is Martin style of notation. Again consider the same 4 examples here. So in this we are going to represent the relation between the entities like this, and here 1, yes, star, and we can also write this as if 1, comma, star, and 0, comma, n. So observe here, here's 1 indicates one and only one relationship, and only star indicates many relationships, and 1, comma, star indicates one-to-many relationship, and 0, comma, n indicates 0 to many relationship. So this is about the representation of which one? The information engineering style, Penn style, Bachmann style, and Martin style of notations. And next we will move on to the topic called as generalization and specialization. So that this is very important for 3 marks. Generalization and specialization. So let us discuss the difference between generalization and specialization. So the first difference is the generalization is called bottom-up design. The generalization obeys or the generalization follows bottom-up design. Generalization follows bottom-up design, whereas the specialization follows the top-down design. The specialization follows top-down design. This is the first difference between generalization and specialization. And second one is, in case of generalization, the lower level entities are combined to form. The lower level entities are combined to form higher level entities. Lower level entities are combined to form higher level entities. In case of specialization, since it is a top-down approach. The higher level entities are divided into, the higher level entities are classified into lower level entities. Here, the higher level entities are divided into lower level entities. So this is the second difference. And the next one is, when you consider the third difference, the higher level entities are again combined to form next to higher level entities. Means the lower level entities are combined to form higher level entities. These higher level entities are again combined to form the next to higher level entities. These higher level entities are again combined to form next higher level entities. In case of specialization, some of the lower level entities may not have its descendants. So means ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೋಯರ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಎಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ನ ಕಂಬೈನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿದ್ರೆ we may get the higher level entities, and these higher level entities are again combined to get the next higher level entities. But in case of specialization, since it is a top down design, the higher level entities are classified into lower level entities. Those lower level entities again divide ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ it may not have the descendants. ಅದ್ರ descendants ಇರದೇ ಇರೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Because of that it is not possible to divide those. ಅದನ್ನ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ನಾವು ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲವೊಂದ್ಸಲ. So that some of the lower level entities may not have its descendants. And when you consider the examples for bottom up approach, so consider an account, and in this there is a relationship, and here the account is called savings, and here the account is called current, and you can observe here EZA is the relation. It is a bottom up design. That means savings is the account and current is a account. So this can be read in like this, means bottom up odbekidena. And when you consider an example for specialization, here student and is a, you can take the relationship here. Student is a ex-student, means already output agiro student to ex-student, or the student is a current student, means presently studying student. So this can be read like a top-down design. Idನ್ನ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ತರ ಓದಬೇಕು? Top-down design. Student is a ex-student, means already output student. Student is a current student, means presently studying student. So this is about the difference between generalization and specialization, very important for 3 marks. So in this, the generalization follows bottom up approach, the specialization follows the top down approach, and the lower level entities are combined to form a high level entities. The high level entities are divided into lower level entities. Again, these higher level entities are again combined to form the next higher level entities. But here, some of the lower level entities may not have its descendants, and the example diagram for these two. Next, we will move on to the topic called as very important 5-mark question, that is called as keys. So keys. So we already heard this word, right? Keys and the word now already previous explanations use ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. So keys refers to an or this key concept is mainly used in the relational database. ಈ ಕೀ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ರಿಲೇಶನಲ್ ಡಾಟಾಬೇಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So this key is used to identify and establish a relationship between the table. Means if you are having a two tables, ಎರಡು tables ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, in order to establish a relation between the tables or to identify the tuples in the tables or to identify the attributes in the tables, for all these purpose we require the keys. In the sense, the keys are used to establish a relationship between the tables. Keys are used to identify and establish a relationship between the tables. Between the tables. Then what do you mean by keys then? Hangadre key andre definition enu? Key refers to an, or keys are defined as a set of one or more columns, whose combined values, set of one or more columns whose combined values are unique among all the occurrences in the table. So very important one more question. What do you mean by key? Key is defined as it is a set of one or more columns, means set of one or more attributes, means columns na combine ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, keys ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. It is a set of one or more columns whose combined values are, if you are combining the attributes, if you are merge those columns, those combined values must be unique among all the occurrences in the table. ಆ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ರೋಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ those values must be unique. ನಾನು ತಗೊಂಡಿರೋ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಏನಾಗಿರಬೇಕು, ಯುನಿಕ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. So if you consider the example for this, consider a student database. In this we are having a table. In this table I am considering the attributes for this table. The first one is student ID, second one is registration ID or registration number, and the name of the student, and the branch of the student, and the email address of the student. Right? Now let us consider the four students here. So four students examples na tavolana. And in this, the student ID is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the register number is CS 2018-31. Register number is CS 2019-35, and register number is IT 2019-01, and register number is EC 2018-50. Observe here, this is the registration number for the students. And name of the student, let us consider Karan, Kavya, and again Karan, and you may write any other names, Akshay. And you can observe here, the branch is studying in CS and the branch is studying in CS, and current branch is IT and the branch is studying EC. And the email address of current is karancs@gmail.com. Similar to that, Kavya@gmail.com. Similar to that again, Karan IT@gmail.com, and similar to that Akshay EC@gmail.com, Observe here. Now we have to identify which is a key in this table. ಈ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕೀ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Now observe here. When you consider the student ID, it is a different for each row. 1, 2, 3, 4 different ಆಗಿದೆ ಪ್ರತಿ row. And when you observe a registration number, it is also a different for each student. CS 2018-31, CS 2019-35, IT 2019-01, EC 2018-50. And if you observe the email ID, it is also different for all the students. Karan CS at gmail.com, Kavya at gmail.com, Karan IT at gmail.com, Akshay EC at gmail.com. You can observe here, if I want to take a unique combination of values by using the name. So, na name use ಮಾಡಿ the current ಅನ್ನೋ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ನ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ it will give the two values here. Means there are two students, one is studying in CH branch and another one is studying IT branch. Means I fetch the two different values here. Means the value is repeated. And if I want to consider this is an key, ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನ key ಅಂತ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಅಂದ್ರೆ again the branch is repeated here. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೀವಿ. Key means it is a set of one or more columns. It is a set of one or more columns whose combined values are unique among all the occurrences. Combined values compulsory ಏನಾಗಿರಬೇಕು, unique ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. But if you consider name and branch as a key, here the value is repeated. That's why these two are not considered as a key here. In this example, I may take SID is a key because it gives unique combination of values. Register number is a key, it also gives unique combination of values. And email is a key, it also gives the unique combination of values. And based on the nature of the keys are classified into again the different types. Based very important for 5 marks, the classification of keys, or we may also call it as types of keys. So the keys are classified into, the first one is called primary key, the primary key, and second one is called candidate key, second one is called candidate key, and third one is called alternate key or secondary key, alternate key or secondary key, and fourth one is called super key, and fifth one is called composite key. Composite key. So the keys are mainly classified into 5 types based on the nature of the key. So this is about the today's class. In this class we discussed about the aggregation, difference between generalization and specialization, and about the types, and we also discussed about the participation constraint. So, and we also discussed about cardinalities and ordinalities in today's session, and remaining the explanation of all these types of keys we are going to discuss in the next class. Thank you all. So the assignment questions based on today's topic, the first and very important question is differentiate between generalization and specialization. The second question is what is key, mention its types, and the last question is define cardinalities and ordinalities. So start writing the assignments and submit within 4 o'clock today. Thank you all.